evening. We are here at RISCON 2019, again back with good company. And we have the pleasure of having Chaitanya here, Chief Digital Officer and Marketing Officer of Cloud9. Yes, we also have Vijay KR, Senior Partner with Deloitte India. So Chaitanya, the thing is, wherever I go, I see Cloud9. So one of the things I always used to wonder is, this is real estate, it's facility, it's a lot of work. So do you have any key criterias as you open these centers? What are you looking for?
So, needless to say, any new center that comes up, almost a year before that, the planning actually starts for it, even in identifying what a potential city would be where you could do that. Typically, there are areas that we look at before selecting a city for setting up a new center. The first is, what is the typical private hospital cost for a delivery kind of a thing? That again gives us a sense of, does it actually match our pricing? Will we be able to get a certain customer base and so on and so forth? And there's always a factor of the doctors over there, right? So typically, if there are way too many doctors and the market is completely split between them, you might think twice about it. But if the market is concentrated within a few doctors and their payout is kind of in tune with what we do typically, then that's an area that we pick up. One of the indicators for selecting a city or an area is actually the number of high-rise buildings over there. We've seen that given our specialities around pregnancy and childcare, it isn't an incidental thing, right? So they're out of X population of a certain age group, Y would be planning for a baby. So we've seen that the number of high-rise buildings and the rental in those buildings is actually a good indicator to decide if that's an area for us to set up a hospital. So that actually comes up into the calculation.
Wow. So Vijay, then very interesting criteria, high-rise building. I'll look out for that next time.
Yeah.
But Vijay, if that's criteria that Cloud9 uses or Chaitanya focuses on, what is it that in the industry they focus on?
Yeah. So what Chaitanya covered is an industry perspective, so to say. So typically, industry looks for one, the proximity of the clients, because if you're looking for your patients, you kind of have a catchment area. People typically would not want to travel a lot for healthcare because they are already sick. They need urgent medical care. So generally, it's a catchment area of 30 minutes. So that's the time period that you want to travel. In Bangalore, it could be as much as 3 kilometers. In Mumbai, it could be 5-6 kilometers, depending on the density. That's one criteria clearly. The second criteria in my mind is in terms of rental. Right, because you're kind of positioned certain hospitals to be a premium category. So you would want to pay the right amount of rentals and be in the right locality. The third criteria that hospitals and people like organizations like Cloud9 looks at is also kind of what's the proximity for the suppliers of talent, right? Like the people who work in those hospitals. So those are some of the criteria that we have seen in the marketplace.
Excellent. So one of the things we discussed was how whether the doctors pull in the patients or is it the brand. So coming to the doctors, just one perspective. So doctors are important criteria?
Absolutely.
So how do you kind of measure that?
So I'll tell you one of the things that I've actually noticed as I've spent more time in healthcare. Typically word of mouth, irrespective of whatever marketing you do, it's usually a good doctor providing great service and his patients going and talking about that further. So we've seen that when we pick up a good locality and we pick up the right doctors over there, we are actually very well able to grow their practice to a great extent.
So now that we've established that this is the baseline, what are some of the risks you might encounter? You open a facility, and I know that some facilities don't do as well as some others.
Yeah.
So what are your typical risks that you've seen?
So actually, in my experience, I've seen a huge gamut of potential things that can happen, right? In some cases, what happens is that the supply, as you mentioned, that we initially envisaged, it doesn't really come through. So there are a few doctors, consultants, visiting consultants, so on and so forth, who commit that they will be a part of the journey, but for some reason or the other, they're not able to engage with us, right? So that typically hampers thing. The other thing on and off that happens that you're still able to control is things about approach, for example, right? In some of our centers, and I've seen this in other hospitals, if there is a metro construction happening right in front of that hospital, it actually hits the footfall to that hospital, at least for that period of time. What do you do? And these are all facts of the business as such.
Right. So given that, Vijay, he brought up a lot of things, some people, some process, some macro factors.
Yeah.
Metro line in Bangalore, where it's going to come, where the work is going to start,
Yeah,
nobody can predict that. But is there a framework with which we can manage this?
I think one of the key risks, to my mind, actually, for a hospital is the reputation risk. Because hospitals run, as you rightly pointed out, run on word of mouth. So its reputation is key and critical. There are many examples of hospitals kind of doing very well purely because of the reputation they hold. And there are also bad examples of hospitals who have done very badly because of the reputation that they have kind of gathered over a period of time. One of the primary things that they expect from a hospital, and realistic and correctly, rightly so, is how empathetic are they? So those are the things that we are seeing in the marketplace. Actually.
Very interesting, you bring out, Chaitanya, in our business, reputation is everything.
Absolutely.
Doctor's reputation, hospital's
Hospital's
reputation,
reputation,
center's reputation. What are the initiatives you run that you have the right message out?
One of the things that we live by is it's our baby, which basically means that it's as good as, we're part of the journey with you. So there are three areas where we kind of track the feedback part. One is on the outpatient part. So there are tabs lying around everywhere. There is some digital way for the customer to actually give us feedback before they leave. So there is enough communication saying that here are the forums where we can capture this feedback kind of a thing. In some cases, we try to also get mandatory feedback, but in outpatient, that doesn't really work very well. The second is the inpatient part. So before a customer leaves our premises, we have to get the feedback from them, right? And it's almost like we are not able to close the billing unless that kind of happens. And that again is taken very seriously. It's done digitally so that there is no question about fudging and stuff. And the third part is around social, right? So there is rigorous tracking on any mention of Cloud9, any complaint being posted on any of these sites, right? So OP, IP, and then social. And what happens is that on a daily basis, the entire management looks at this. Okay, so any mention on Twitter, Facebook, mouth shut, or just a simple random mention saying I had a poor experience at Cloud9, it gets highlighted right to the top level. Similarly, the OP feedback, the IP feedback. And there is a very clear escalation matrix for that. So there's very clear process laid out saying if there is a complaint that's come in, depending on the seriousness of the complaint, at the minimum, somebody at the CXO level will talk to the customer. At best, somebody even from the board might reach out to the customer to understand what's happening, right? So that is really the core of everything we do at Cloud9, making sure that our customers are happy.
Right, he made a very interesting point, Chaitanya. Now, I haven't, at least it might be my ignorance, but tracking social media posts by senior management daily, that sounds like a good control. What would you think?
I think that's a need of the hour. I mean, it's no longer an option, right? I think for organizations like Cloud9, I think a lot of booking happens online because everything is digital, right?
So as you mentioned, it's really, I think it's the need of the hour, right? And one of the things that you'll see on social media is that the positives, while they still show up, they don't get highlighted the same way a negative thing.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Hence, it's a lot more important for us to keep our eyes on the ball, make sure that on a daily basis, right? So this is an activity that even happens on a Sunday, and there have been times that we've gotten on a call saying, hey, what happened? So there are 11 people come in and try to solve it.
So thank you very much, Chaitanya, taking
Thanks,
time
Chaitanya.
out from your busy schedule. And thank you, Vijay, once again for taking
Thank you.
time out.